Jones here with Automate Academy TV, and I'm here to actually show you something really, really cool. It's a funnel design secret and training know-how, and it's all about how to optimize your funnel for mobile. You'll know that sometimes if you're using ClickFunnels that you're building a funnel and it looks amazing on desktop, and all of a sudden you look at your phone and you want to gouge your eyeballs out because you're like, why does it look so bad? And then you try and tweak it and it doesn't work out, and then it's just, and then you give up, right? So I actually want to show you a really easy way for how you can optimize for mobile. And we know this, right? A majority of the traffic nowadays is actually coming from mobile. So your stuff needs to look stellar on every mobile device so that it will continue to convert. Designing it well on desktop just is not sufficient. You have to make sure it looks good on mobile as well. But gratefully, again, the way to do that is really, really simple, and I want to show you how. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and actually show you how. Okay, and in addition to showing you how to optimize for mobile, I'm actually going to tell you one secret that will just save you the most headache. It's like a warning secret. Like, everybody in the world should know this, or else you will ruin your life, aka your funnel, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and go through that really fast, and then I'm gonna share with you this huge warning at the end, okay? But I wanna show you, this is just an example. I went and copied this page, but I wanna show you, this is one of the order form pages for my program, CF Design School. You can see it's really crisp, clear, it's looking pretty good on desktop, right? Not half bad. Not half bad. Looks just fine, right? Crisp, clean. But then when we right click, and if you right click, this is a really easy way, you might not know this. If you right click and pick inspect, what happens is you're able to see your particular page, how it looks on different mobile devices, okay? So what it will do is it will pull up here and you can see what it looks like on mobile devices, okay? And the way that you can actually tell is, do you see this little triangle right here up above? If you click on that triangle, all of a sudden all these options will come down for how of mobile devices that you can pick to see what your funnel looks like. So if I want to see what it looks like in a Galaxy, then it will update, and that's what it looks like on a Galaxy phone. If we want to see what it looks like on an iPhone 10, you'll see it adjusts a little bit, and that's what it looks like on an iPhone 10. You can also see what it looks like from this right-click inspect, what it looks like on an iPad. So we can see what it looks like here on our good old iPad, okay? Now, if we come here, I'm not an iPhone 10 girl. I want to be. I should go be one. I don't know. I have a 7. That's how it is. Anyway, so I'll do 7. This is what it looks like on a 7. And it honestly doesn't look terrible, but it does not look as crisp and clean as this did, right? You look at this and you're like, okay. And you look at the other one and you're like, man, it's probably not optimized as much for mobile. Now, sometimes with this one, we'll see here, there's not going to be too many drastic changes that we're going to need to make in order to maintain the integrity of the page and what we're trying to do here. But there are some pages that do. And I wanted to show you one. For example, this is a page that I redesigned for Liz Benny. This is for her coaching program, okay? And a really cool funnel, able to do some great things. And again, tell a really cool story through this funnel. Amazing. Now, because there's so many different elements to this page, the way that it was designed in desktop had to be significantly different from what it looked like in mobile, simply due to the different specifications and basically groundwork that we had to play with in mobile, right? So if we right click this and go to inspect, we'll see that it looks significantly different just in terms of order and what we had. Like, for example, Become an Ultimate right here, we had to put the picture of her down below, whereas on desktop it was to the right, okay? And so you'll see there are like some pretty significant changes that we had to make on mobile to make sure that we preserve the integrity, right? So if we look here, right, for kind of the customer highlights or whatever, we again had to switch up the order of what this looked like, right? Like, she's really featured here while her accolades are down here, whereas in the desktop version it looks very different, right? Like, she's over here where her accolades are here. So we had to do some modifications, some pretty extreme modifications, in order to, again, protect the integrity of the page and the design so that it would still be optimized for conversions, okay? Now, this one took a little bit more edits in regards to what needed to happen on desktop versus what needed to happen on mobile, just because the intricacy of this funnel is way more intense than this simple order form here. So this one we won't have to make too many edits, honestly, just a few tiny tweaks, but I just want to show you how you can do that in case you need to actually do that, okay? So here's how we do it. The genius of this particular thing is all you have to do is actually just design, again, essentially one funnel for desktop and one for mobile. And you're basically going to have two different funnels going at the same time. Now, if we look at this here, do you see this green? When I hover over green, it means we're hovering over a section, okay? I'm going to go ahead and click on settings here. And when I click on settings, what will happen is the editor will pop up. And if we scroll down to the bottom, I'm going to actually remove myself because you can't see that, I don't think. Get rid of me. How do I get rid of me? Okay. So if we scroll down to the bottom here, you'll see that it's highlighted on all, whereas there's a phone icon and then a desktop or computer icon. Now, depending on which of these three that you pick will determine where that section actually shows, okay? So when we hover over, again, this section up here, this green section that includes the logo and the email questions here to whatever, what's happening is what's happening is this is showing on desktop and mobile. But what we want to do is we want to create a version that just exists on desktop and just exists on mobile. And that way, we can make sure that we can adjust whatever we want to adjust on desktop and adjust whatever we want to adjust on mobile, and they won't affect the other, okay? So here's how this is going to work. What we're going to do is we're literally just going to hover over this, and we're going to go to this clone button here. We're going to go ahead and click clone. And when we click clone, you'll see that we have two of these, okay? And then what we're going to do, we're going to hover back up to the top one, click on settings. And once we click on settings, the editor will open up, and we're going to say, hey, listen, ClickFunnels, this particular section is only going to show on desktop. That's it. It's not allowed to go on mobile. And when we do that, you'll see that this red box has kind of popped up over it that will designate, hey, this is only showing on desktop. So even though we see two things here, right, when we go to mobile view right now, we will only see one of these because we said, hey, listen, this is only showing in desktop, okay? Now what we want to say is we want to say, okay, now the second one, homeboy, you're only going to show in mobile. Click it in mobile, and we're good to go there. Does that make sense? So now we only see one on each side. And then on a typical page, you would go through and do this for the entire thing, right? So like for Liz's page, we duplicated all these sections, all these sections, all these sections, until we had two of each, one that was designated to be on the desktop, one that was designated to be on the mobile, okay? But the warning, the big thing that I want to tell everybody here, please listen to this. It will save your life from just a load of misery, is whenever you have an order form of any kind on a page, you're not allowed to duplicate it. Don't duplicate it, because here's what happens. ClickFunnels or the payment processing, it gets confused. It gets confused because it's like, well, you only have one product, but you have two order forms. Does that make sense? ClickFunnels registers that as you have an order form A on desktop and order form B on mobile, but you've also only told it that there's one product. So it just gets really confused. So when you do work on an order form like this, you are not allowed to duplicate the order form. Now you can duplicate everything else, but the order form, there should only exist one single order form between the desktop and the mobile. So whatever's on the desktop, it needs to say all. Does that make sense? So for example, if we were to duplicate this and do a clone here, so now we have two of these, we're screwed. This is not going to work out for us, okay? But if we look here, we might be like, well, if we go to mobile, we're like, well, I really want to adjust this font size though, but I can't because there's a thing in here. Here's what we're going to do instead. Don't freak out. Rather than duplicating the entire section, which we don't want to do because it includes this order form here, instead what we want to do is we just want to, now we can duplicate certain elements, or even if we zoom out a little bit, rows, okay? So what we can do is we can say, okay, well, I want this particular row, we're going to make two of these, so we could adjust the font size on mobile, but keep the same on desktop here. So we'll just say, okay, cool, this one right here, this right here, it's just going to stay on desktop, and we're going to click on settings, click the desktop icon down here. Let me take myself off so you can see. Take the desktop right here. You guys still with me on what this is? And you'll see a red box goes around it, okay? And then what we're going to do for this one is we'll just say, hey, listen, this goes to mobile, and then this will just be on mobile, okay? Now also we have that on mobile. Now again, you would go through and do this for the whole process. So anything that you want to adjust, I honestly recommend if it's anything other than an order form, duplicate it so that you have one version on mobile, one version on desktop, and you can adjust accordingly. Now I already think that this looks great on desktop, so we really only need to make modifications in mobile, okay? But if we were, for example, to modify, let's say this right here, and we wanted to make this like crazy big, like 200 and, whoa, not that crazy big. 250, right? So this is like ginormous here. We'll see that that change did not affect anything on the mobile. Like you'll see that stayed the exact same because that was strictly happening in the mobile or the desktop designated row there, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and move this back just so for ourselves, okay? 64. And that's what we have going on there, okay? Now, if we come in here to mobile, what I recommend is you can come here. Let's say we want to make this font a little bit smaller, we say, come here. And honestly, even though we have the font size here, we have to adjust the mobile size. So we'll just click here, come down here and say we want it like 32. I don't know what we want it. And we'll say maybe I want it all in one line. CF Design School now, and we can adjust this payment of $9.97 here. Adjust this here. And again, the beauty of this is that this will only be affected on this, on the mobile version of this, okay? Now, let's say also here, like we can see this is kind of huge, like comparatively the logo is kind of big. Right here it fits really, really well, but this size is just like a little bit too much, okay? So this is a great example where the mobile section will work out really well for us. So for the mobile section, instead what we're gonna do, we're just gonna click settings and we're gonna make this image width way smaller, 25, or maybe, I don't know, 40. So all of a sudden that looks a lot less crazy comparatively to here. Whereas if we were to make that 40, it probably wouldn't look the same. So that is how you're able to optimize for mobile and desktop using the same funnel. The reason is, or the way being simply to duplicate each section unless it has an order form, right? Duplicate each section and make sure that one is designated to go to desktop, one is designated to go to mobile, and if you do both of those things, you're able to optimize each for each and make sure that you cater and curate your specific funnel page to the people that are addressing you coming from a phone versus the people that are coming to you via mobile. But just remember the warning of all warnings. I speak from experience. I speak from other people who have absolutely been roasted by this, okay? Do not duplicate an order form, whatever you do, for the love of everything that is good in this beautiful funnel world. Never duplicate an order form because ClickFunnels will get confused, and if ClickFunnels confused, then you're not going to get money and then everybody's sad, okay? So that's how you duplicate funnel, or that's how you optimize for mobile, that's how you optimize for desktop. That is one big no to avoid, is duplicating your order forms. And other than that, have a great time designing, and I will see you on our next video. If you have any questions, visit me at cfdesignschool.com. Bye, you guys.